Right, so as the title of this video says, I've gone and made a bit of a city here in the Bannerlord scene editor, and today I'm gonna show you around and show you what I've done so far. It's taken about two and a half weeks, maybe 3, of work to get to this point. That being after quite a few crashes, but hey, it's here. Uh, the editor tools are here, and I'm not gonna be complaining too much. So right now we're right on the edge of the map. Just to give you a bit of perspective, the city right now is about 1 to 1.5 kilometers away. This whole map is a 3 by 3 kilometer map, 12 by 12 grid. 250 meters per per node, and while there's not a whole lot out here in the countryside, I suppose, as we get in, you'll see that there's quite a bit of complexity. I haven't added any of the AI, any of the nav mesh stuff. It's just buildings, terrain, and some trees and decorations and a bit, some of that. But anyways, without further ado, so the reason I'm not showing this in one of the test missions is because there's actually some kind of problem with loading terrain layers. I think it's one of my first or second video. If you see that, you'll see exactly what I mean, but maybe no, I won't show here. It's more of a waste of time. You can see it for yourself easy enough. Let's see, I think we're moving much faster than a horse. And sorry if my my use of the camera isn't exactly practice. This is probably the first time I've had to record something this way. I did have it working where I could launch it in one of the test missions, the simple mounted player test missions, but for some reason I can't figure it out. The terrain layers just won't load properly anymore. Even though whether I have them in the proper order or in a reverse order or whatever. So here we are. So we've got the Empire Aqueduct out here. It's pretty good, pretty fab. Now, I do have this bridge right here for now. Hopefully in future I'll be able to have something like a ferry, because I do want this to be an island city with no connection, no land connection, that is, to the rest of the map. But for now, this will have to do, since once I figure out how to get the simple mounted player mission working and eventually publish this as a proper map, you gotta get to the city somehow. Alright, so I'm gonna stop right here and just explain a little bit about the design. So right over here, not really fleshed out inside, but it's kind of a not really circular, more like an oval shaped harbor in there. And then we got a little bit more of a little harbor on the other side of this wall. And I was thinking that maybe I shouldn't have built this out here, but I think it looks pretty cool and it kind of makes sense, right? You don't want people landing here for now, walking over this bridge and being able to get into your harbor without, any resistance at all. So that's the outside. So, like I said, we got the Empire Aqueduct over here, and I think it only looks good at this height. When it's higher, it looks a bit too ridiculous and actually starts to dwarf the scale of the city. So instead of being, say, the top of it right here where it's just getting over the wall with just enough clearance for someone to pass through, it'd be way up here, probably another, 10 meters or so. And I don't know, it seemed a bit too ridiculous. The only problem with it now is that in an effort to be realistic, I'd want ships to be able to pass under here, and because there's that supporting bit of brick right along here, you can't actually say it's possible, unfortunately. And the same thing for this bridge. If I were to keep it, it's just too short, and when I try to make it bigger, it stretches out the prefab, and, well, like, I'm probably going to get rid of the bridge anyway, so that's not really much of an issue, but I really would like to find out how to rework the aqueduct. Or maybe someone already has. I don't know. Anyways, on into the city. So we've got a little, I guess, landing area out here. Maybe I'll put some hobo camps or tents, or maybe a little market, or maybe even a house or two. So then we're right into the beginnings of the city, and so right over here we got a little stable, little barn over there, some nice trees covering the walkway, the main entrance way into the city, and just some, if I pan out over here, some nice buildings baked into the side of the wall. Something that I personally really like to see in city scenes. And right here, so I'm not quite sure how all the pieces of the Empire's Grand Bazaar, some bad clipping going on there, how the pieces of the Empire's Grand Bazaar are supposed to fit together. So I just kind of, at first I was just kind of throwing stuff together, and this is what I came up with initially. So I kind of think of it as a bit of an arcade. So you got, like an open entry, open walkway right here, and then shops all through here. One of the Roman houses over here. And then continuing on, under this house bridge right here, we come to the big square of the town. I'm pretty satisfied with how all this right here looks. I don't think I'll be changing much in the way of buildings. Probably just adding some shops, some market stalls in and around here, as this is the main square in the town. Alright, so coming through over there and then going under this triumphal arch over here, keep going down, we come to the port, or one of the, I guess, docks. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 piers, and I really want I really want Terra Worlds to add some ships to the game other than the generic, I don't know, I guess Viking ship that they have, the one that they have at all the Sea Raider scenes, the only actual ship model that's available. I've seen, if you go through the files, you'll see models for, I think they're just the physics models for some other kinds of ships, but I really want them to bring those in, or figure out some way to get some ships from the Viking Conquest mod in here. And so this is kind of another little place I'm planning to put some market stuff over here. A little rotunda with the bust of somebody, some emperor, Neretzes probably, if I had to guess. So that's just on the other side, or just as you come in through the main gate, that's just to the left. And down here, little fountain over here. And then right here is kind of the main, I guess, or the most tightly packed part of the city. So some pretty narrow alleyways right through here. Some more of the rundown or what looked to me to be more rundown buildings, the Roman buildings, kind of towards the edge here. And I tried to mix it up as much as possible, but I think in total there's only, what, 4, 8, 8 house buildings for the Empire, and then 3 more if you include the village houses, but there's plenty of ways to augment those. So, oh, one other thing I've decided to do here is to have some of the wall art that you normally see on the interior of the Empire Keeps, just because I can't be, or I could, but it'd be a bit boring to just be adding the window boxes or generic windows. So I thought that might look kind of nice. Some more over here, and then right over here we have a kind of a I don't know. I call it a garrison encampment. I don't know. Let's see if it actually. What do I actually call this? It won't tell me. It just highlights the components. But yeah, I think I call this a garrison encampment, city militia encampment, something like that. Something that I was thinking is kind of missing from pretty much from all city scenes. Maybe I haven't looked close enough, but just somewhere that you'd actually stick an occupying force or a militia force. So we got the usual castle barracks, yep, over here, and then like a kind of a storage shed and of some stables, barn right there. And yeah, the rest of this part of the city right here is just houses. I don't know. Maybe I'll try and turn one of these buildings into something like a church, but I don't know if that can really be done very well with just by smacking together some prefabs. Then pretty much this whole area over here is houses. Yeah. But yeah, some more tight alleyways. I really wanted to make the city kind of claustrophobic. Not that the scenes in the proper scenes that Terrorwolves have done aren't claustrophobic enough. They are, but I didn't want this to be too open. Although there are some spaces in here that are pretty open in and of themselves. All right, so now we're on the opposite side of the square from where you come in, and right here, this structure right here is something I've called the Empire Grand Arcade. So just a lot more of what we saw in the coming into the city on the left hand side there. Okay, good, no bad clipping issues going on over here. And just a lot more shops. I think there's 8 in total here, and then a big open area around this rock fixture. This is something I retextured. I think it was originally a desert rock of some kind, one of the desert cliffs. Yeah, cliff eye. And obviously there's a lot more that needs to be added. I haven't added any props yet. And then over here we have the arena. I think I might actually try to make this. Originally I wasn't planning on adding the arena because I didn't think this would actually be able to be worked into, say, the standard campaign map or some custom campaign map. Just because it's an island city and there's no way to really besiege it that well. I mean, just going back to the entrance over here. I mean, you could have your forces line up all right here, but you wouldn't really want to. Yeah, this is pretty much just for artistic purposes right now. Maybe hopefully there'll be something. Hopefully they'll look back to their Viking conquest mod and try and work in some more naval warfare type stuff. because obviously this city is a port city on an island, and in order to interact with it in any meaningful way, you really need that support for maritime stuff. Alright, so right over here, so right behind the Empire Grand Arcade, just to go back here to, oh man, some more clipping crap. There's got to be a better way to deal with that. Going back here, we have some slums, because what city doesn't have slums? And so then these are just all the some village houses, and come over here, some repurposed Kuzite houses that were actually pretty surprisingly easy to retexture. Some of the ones, some of the generic city houses are pretty difficult to really blend in. Like this is one of the Valandian ones, and even though I made it, or I mean, because I made it, I know it sticks out. But you know, anyone looking at this for the first time would not think that it blends in. I haven't been able to figure out how to get this color to match that color, even though they're the same same texture. Just need some more experimenting. All right, so coming through the slums, right behind the arena, the poor living in the shadow of opulent wealth, all that stuff, all that fun stuff. And then right over here, we have kind of a fairground, kind of a, I was thinking of it like a kind of an encampment for whoever's come to participate in the local tournament, or just having it, leaving this space open for yeah, I guess having it as some kind of fairground would be the best way to put it. So some Aserai tents and Valandian tents. I didn't really think the Botanian or Kuzite tents really fit in with the aesthetic I was going for here. But anyway, so that's that. And then coming over here, we have another residential district. Again, more wealthy looking buildings towards the front. Poor, in my opinion, some of the poor looking buildings towards the back. Another square right there that we'll come to in a bit. I'm probably going too fast. Like cut that. There we go. So yeah, some more sharp, narrow alleyways. And yeah, because of this, let's see if there's a better way to look at it passing through the wall. Because of this part on the aqueduct right here, I've had to basically just pile dirt on top of it, and I haven't quite smoothed all that out yet, but that's a minor thing. I really just wish that I could figure out how to rework the aqueduct prefab, but I'm sure that's not too difficult. And so then coming out right here is the other square in the town. And by the way, in case you're interested in making these for yourself, it's very simple. Just take the Empire Road Flore and duplicate it three times in a square. Yeah, so we got some more important looking buildings up front. A little fountain right here. And you might notice, come to that little garden in a bit, you might notice that I don't have the sound on. You would be able to hear the water, except you might want to plug your ears for this, because I don't know how loud this will be. There's only one way to show you. Yeah. That buzzing noise will not go away. And I can't remember now when it popped up, but I can't think of what is causing it. maybe there's some kind of soundtrack that's supposed to be playing in the background that I need to implement, but I cannot. I for now can't figure it out. All right. Anyways, now we're coming to the. I kind of thought of this as a. I don't know. I guess the best way to call it would be like a speaker's corner. So kind of an amphitheater thing going on here. And yeah, just kind of a more relaxed place than the rest of the city. Maybe some senators coming to debate and get stabbed in the process. And then the obviously gotta have some kind of religious building. Even though technically this is the Middle Ages, early Middle Age, no, uh, whatever time period it's supposed to map onto, it's not antiquity. So having a house shrine like this doesn't really make too much sense, but you know it looks pretty good here, I think. And then the only reason I had this tower here so that I could get up and look at the city from kind of a panopticon perspective. But I think I'm gonna keep it. Just it seems like it's not. It seems like it's not out of place. So I think I'm gonna end up keeping that. Some rocks and trees. The reservoir for the aqueduct. And then we're back to the main square. That's pretty much it. Oh, just to come over here and show you the other harbor, some more houses right here. Yeah, not really fleshed out right now, but I think once I get some piers put in here and some more of the like storage sheds that we got going on the other set of docks, this will look pretty nice. So then here's the, just trying to zoom out. Here's the city as a whole, right there. And so this took, in and of itself, quite some time. And initially, my plan was to populate all three. So we got 3 islands getting bigger as we go downstream. We're not really in a river right now, but I kind of imagine this as the head of a river, or the mouth of a river. So we got a smaller island. I'm gonna end up keeping that and put the keep on that island, the city, and then over here I was planning on putting an even bigger city. Let's see if we can. But if we just zoom out, that's this second island is 1.5, 2 times larger than this. So I don't know. It might be too much. And yeah, I might end up trying to move that. I might even try to move that a little closer because this huge causeway over here is just a little bit ridiculous. But I'm probably gonna end up getting rid of that. Anyways, yeah. So that's the city I've made, and I'll hopefully figure out how to run one of the test missions without textures, shitting the bed. But yeah, so that's what I've made so far, and I plan to keep developing this to the point that I could actually override one of the generic cities in Bannerlord. And at that point, I think I'll just share it out, and if you can find some use for it in your vanilla, or I guess slightly modded Bannerlord, that'll probably be okay. And if you could work it into a mod, I'd really like to see this in some other mod, because once I found the scene editor, I haven't even touched any of the more hardcore modding tools out there. But yeah, so if you like what I've done here, I don't know, what's the standard YouTube thing? Like and subscribe. If you have any suggestions for improvements or things you'd want to see in this city or things to change, please let me know in the comments. And thanks for watching.